Hello. Hope everybody is doing good. Sorry for the impromptu no high transport time. This was sort of I goofed and forgot that I had plans for today. Hey Carol, give me a second. Hi Lincolnshire. Oh, come on. Hi Marie. Trying to find. There it is. Well, we have some people here. Be right back. Do-do-do-do-do. Today we are talking about the Vaquita. I'm not sure I'm pronouncing that right, but I hope you have tissues because this is a sad one. I hope I feel bad. I wish I would have remembered last night. Yeah, this is one of those ones where it's like how are you, Lincolnshire Transport? You know, maybe I should switch till noon or do a separate live at noon on Saturdays, but it may just become a bigger mess. So I am Nature Guy X46, and this is Nature Guy X46 Presents. And today we are diving deep. See what I did there? Into the world of the Vaquita. This is a porpoise that is potentially the most endangered mammal or animal on the earth. And it's probably the most endangered one that I will ever talk about on this channel. And that's saying a lot. If you can believe it, this porpoise was not known to science until 1958. And once again, we're seeing an animal that, once it was discovered, has slowly been slipping away into extinction. Awesome. Thank you, Sister Soup. When I said bring your tissues, I wasn't joking. Now remember, we only care about the facts on this channel. So the porpoise, this particular porpoise, is 5 feet long. They only get up to about 120 pounds. It is the smallest porpoise known to science, and they are only found in the northern section of the Gulf of California. They are dark gray on their sides. Oh wait, I'm sorry. They are dark gray on their dorsal surface. So dorsal surface is top. Pale gray on the sides, and they're white on the bottom. So why is this animal endangered? Well, first off, just how many of these animals are left? There may only be as many as 6 to 13 of these animals swimming around in the Gulf of California. Illegal fishing practices are what has hit this animal so badly. They get stuck in fishing nets. And once they get stuck in the nets, unfortunately, they can't get themselves out. And so what ends up happening is porpoises, dolphins, and whales are all mammals. So they all have to come up to the surface to breathe. If they can't do that, unfortunately, they drown. And that is what is happening in this case. Now, there is a fish in the Gulf of California that is being overfished. And I don't know where it's at on things. And they're being fished for their curative properties. And they're being taken for their swim bladders. Their swim bladders are being shipped into the United States, and then they're being shipped off to China. Now, they sell for about $8,500, that's American money, per kilogram. $8,500 per kilogram. Sorry, had to throw that in. Now, between 2011 and 2016, this animal faced a 90% decline in population. It usually does. It usually boils down to money. Now, is there things being done to save this species? Yes, there is. On June 30th, 2017, hi, Maribel. On June 30th, 2017, the Mexican government announced a ban on gill nets in the upper Gulf of California. Remember, it's these gill nets that are entangling this porpoise. Mexico has also set up a biosphere reserve and a Vaquita refuge where commercial fishing has been outlawed. And both the biosphere and this refuge. Apparently, it's also illegal to even have gill nets on your boat in this section of the Gulf of California. So that's all fine and dandy. As we see in the United States in some areas, if you don't enforce the law, it does you no good to have the law. And that's part of the problem. Another part of it is people just don't care. So, what can you do to help the Vaquita? Honestly, at this point, I don't know if anybody can do anything. And I know that sounds pretty bleak coming from me, but let me explain. They were first discovered by science in 1958. Now, I'm assuming the fishermen knew about them much earlier than that. Exactly. Well, I don't know if they let them do it. It's kind of like turning a blind eye. One of the things that we can do, and I see this a lot, is, wow, I only have one person. Interesting. One of the things we can do is to buy sustainable seafood. And if you want to learn more about what exactly sustainable seafood is, go to the Monterey Bay Aquarium's website. Or actually, hold on. I keep forgetting I can do this. Right? I'm going to hopefully okay, so hold up, guys. I've got to get into the channel on my Chromebook so that I can give you something that may help. Okay, is it here or not? No, it's not. Me too. And I never know, like, until the end. Oh, gosh darn it. Why, when I'm trying to do something that's really cool, can I not do it? Okay. Hi, Otis. Otis. Okay, so that link is going to take you to Monterey Bay's Aquarium Sustainable Seafood section of their website. And here you can learn about what sustainable seafood is. You're going to be able to download a PDF that acts as a consumer guide so that you can find sustainable seafood wherever you travel. And they also have it in Spanish. They have a section where you can learn about sushi, learn about ocean issues, discover local sustainable seafood, sign up for Ocean Action, follow us on, you can do all sorts of things on there related to it. And they have other stuff on their website that's really, really cool too. Okay. I don't know why, but I won't ask. Is it not letting you do it? Or I don't know. And you don't, I'm not saying that you have to. I'm not saying that you have to do it. But I'm putting it out there. Another thing you can do is write elected officials to apply pressure to Mexico to enforce their already in place ban on gill nets. And if you have money, which I don't, you can visit the area and do ecotourism so that your money goes back into the area. Ah. See, I like fish, but I don't like sushi. I guess the boys left, huh? I feel bad because I was thinking Chelsea and there he is. That Chelsea and 7-inch would be in. You should just be able to click on the link. Well, they do have plans. One of the things that they can't do is they can't just take these animals and put them into captivity. And so that's part of the problem. Is for some animals, we were able to go in and we were able to take this group of animals and put them into captivity and then breed them. Marine mammals especially, well, take killer whales, for example. They don't do well in captivity. And I think there's fear that if we take these animals and we put them into captivity, they're not going to make it. And it won't happen. And so it's hard to know how many of these animals are out there. We could, in my lifetime, definitely, probably in Transport Time's lifetime, this is one of those mammals that we could see not be here. And it's not just me fear-mongering about it. It probably is going to be a reality. Um, yeah, I totally agree. I don't want to get us off course, but if you look at our track record, we discovered the stellar sea cow, and it pretty much was gone like that. We discovered the dodo, and it was gone like that. We came really close to losing the Galapagos giant tortoise. Luckily, it's still with us. At least most species. And there's thylacine is another example. And so we owe it to ourselves and the Vaquita to do what we can. Some things seem... Thank you, predecessor. Sorry, I forgot that I had an engagement tonight. No, I'm not getting engaged. I just have a party to go to. I should have phrased that differently. I don't always... I don't have all of the answers, because if I did, it would be wonderful to just snap my fingers and say, hey, wake up. But of course, I can't do that. I don't have that power. What I can do is I can talk about it. I was sort of amazed that Carol hadn't heard about it until this week. Is that right, Carol? So not knowing about it keeps your voices from being heard. And that's one of the reasons why I started doing these Learn to Cares, because if you don't care, you can't act. That's one of the reasons why Yeah. Um, it's hard. The smaller the population goes, the less you have really good genetics to work with. And the less genetics that you have, to work with, the more dire the situation becomes. And so this animal is definitely in dire straits. And it might be possible to bring this one back. But it's going to take a lot to get this to stop. Well, I'm hoping that they are able to bring this one back. I'm just this is the one time where I'm a bit of a pessimist. I don't see it bouncing back. I could be wrong. I hope I'm wrong. But you're dealing with a couple different issues. You're dealing with greed. You're dealing with this belief that this swim bladder of this fish can cure people have that belief that it can cure whatever is wrong with you. But see, though, it sounds like the porpoise is linked to this other fish. And so if we can knock that fish from being fished or from being harvested, we might be able to stop this. No, they don't. And that's part of the problem. Because if we could get a captive pair, we could breed them. But again, one pair, if you're breeding that one pair, you're only putting its genetics back into the wild. And that can pose issues as well. Because genetics are funny. If you have brother and sister and you get the idea. You start seeing health issues emerging, birth defects emerging. It's not good. So we need people to know how many. You know what? I'm gonna do a poll. Yes, it is exactly why. A family grief. Um, and we've had issues in other places as well. Hi, Arslan Gaming. Not a whole lot. I'm a firm believer in the idea or the concept that people will not protect what they don't care about. Yeah, that's one of the reasons I'm good. I'm good. I just feel like, yeah, I had to wake up and immediately get to work on the script for today because um numbers for me don't stick. This Marie Angelina, this is one of the reasons why the AZA is not really displaying um Bengal tigers, because in the United States their genetics have been muddied and they're not pure Bengal tigers. And so if you're going to breed them for possible release back into the wild, you want pure genetics. Yes, we have. Well, I'm not sure how much in the wild they would have mixed. Um, but it's possible even in the wild. But I think probably it happens more in captivity, not necessarily in AZA zoos, but in other places. But here's something to think about. And I don't know if I can explain this in a way that's going to make sense. So, AZA zoos are mostly your big zoos. Now, it's not all of them are big, but it's the American Association of Zoos and Aquariums. And Europe has a similar organization to our AZA. But let's talk about genetics really quick. And since we're talking about tigers, let's talk tigers. Or since we were talking about tigers, let's talk about tigers. Just give me a second. I'm sorry, transport. Okay, so can you see that? That is the scientific name for tigers, or tiger. Now, like probably some of you, I assumed that a Bengal tiger or a Siberian tiger. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. So it's going to be a little bit slower, but I'll try it this way. They need to figure out a way to allow us to. Oh. Okay, so that is the scientific name for tigers, or tiger. The Bengal tiger, the Malayan tiger, the Amur tiger, those are all subspecies of tigers. Now, a lion is Panthera leo, which is important. Now, the Panthera is its genus. Okay? Okay, so let's talk. I didn't think I would be doing this today, but evidently I am. I am gathering up some supplies because I'm gonna need them. Okay. So, tiger, right? I can breed a tiger with any other tiger and get offspring because they're all within the same species. Does that make sense? I hope. Now, so the Panthera is the group that the cats that roar. So within this group, there are only okay. So there are 5 big cats within this group that are Panthera. They are the lion, the tiger, the jaguar, the leopard, and the snow leopard. That is it. Now, that's not saying that there aren't other big cats. These are just the ones that are in this group, depending upon I'm pretty sure I have and there may it's possible. I don't believe mountain lion is in that group. No. Okay. So, getting back to what I was saying. These two belong in the same genus. So I can take them and I can breed them. And depending upon who the dad is or the mom, I'm either going to get a Liger or a Tyon. Now, there's a possibility that when you breed animals outside of their species, that the offspring potentially can be sterile. For instance, you can't really breed a mule with another animal. With a horse, you might be able to take a donkey and a horse and get a mule, but I don't think it's not going to work. Okay? So theoretically, I could take a lion and a tiger and breed those cats and produce a series of animals. However, a cheetah and a lion isn't going to work. Even though this is a cat, and it is a big cat, it is outside of the lion's genus. You're not going to get babies. And if you do get babies, well, let's just leave it at you're not going to get babies, okay? Same thing goes with a wolf and a coyote. I can breed these two together because they're both in the same genus. They're both Canis. I think however, I can't take any one of these and breed them with a fox. Different genus. So you can intermix between genuses, but when you do a animal outside their species, you're not going to get a whole lot of offspring. No, a panther is Panthera. For instance, let me show you. I could technically, these are both jaguars. Jaguars are in the genus Panthera. These are both leopards. They're also in Panthera. So technically, I could breed these two together, but this would not happen. And I'm pretty sure okay, so snow leopard 2. I could breed a snow leopard with a regular leopard. However, again, the offspring probably would not be, you wouldn't be able to probably reproduce them, meaning that the mix would not be able to reproduce. Now, even though these two look like it might work, this would not work either. You can't breed a hyena with a dog. It's not going to happen. Just like this would not work. You can't breed a lion and a mountain lion together. Not going to happen. This, believe it or not, is closer related to your house cat than a lion. This could probably breed with a house cat. Kind of scary to think about. They're in the same genus, but they're a different species. And the size difference probably would be an issue, a big issue. This is Felis, this is Panthera. Two different genuses. So technically breeding would not happen. Now, as to lifespan, let's see. So, Marie, to answer your question about mixes having a shorter lifespan, yes. I'll get back to it. Ligers have a shorter lifespan than tigers, and there could be reasons for that. One, again, you're dealing with genetics. So this and this, they're related, but they're not the same species. And so the genetics are kind of wompy. They're not really good. Many ligers will die somewhere around 7 years, although that's not always the case. They can live for up to 18 years. Some of them have even lived up until they're 24 years of age. So it does vary. So when we talk about cats and who's who, let's do that really quick. Leopards are Panthera. I don't know why I picked him up. Snow leopards are Panthera. All tiger subspecies are Panthera. Lions are Panthera. Jaguars are Panthera. And snow leopards are Panthera. Lynxes, even though they're a cat, I believe a lynx is felis. Yeah, keep in mind that in captivity, animals, generally speaking, live longer lives. So, if it's an animal that's in captivity, they're going to live longer lives. Ligers actually lack the growth inhibitor genes. Meaning that there's nothing there to keep them from getting big. The largest liger can be over 10 feet long and weigh more than 900 pounds. The largest liger was 113 inches long, 49 inches tall at the shoulder, and weighed 922 pounds. And yes, he is in captivity. He is the largest living cat. He is the offspring of a lion and a tigress. So, because this has been in the news, let's do this one. Brown bears, like the grizzly bear, are subspecies of each other. But a grizzly and a polar bear do sometimes, especially now, we are finding that they're breeding. But this and this are in the same genus, but they're different species. So I don't believe that they are capable of producing viable offspring. Oh, where is he? Now, that being said, the lynx and the mountain lion are felis. This is felis lynx, and Felis concolor. Technically, they could breed, but again, offspring would be an issue. Again, this and this, nope. This and this, nope, not gonna happen. That's why you can breed. Genetics can be weird. It's a touchy subject. One that I don't even have all of the answers for. Does that help at all? Carol, what did you mean by no way, LOL? Yes. Ligers, like I said, they do not have. There's a gene that controls how big they get, and a liger doesn't have that gene. So they will continue to grow throughout their life. Now, I'm not saying that all crossbreeds have that. I don't believe they do. But the liger in particular doesn't have that genetics. They don't have that genetic switch. That switch that says, hey, you need to stop growing at a certain point, at a certain age, that switch is turned off. It's like in people. Around 18 or 19, 20s, men stop growing. If you flipped that switch, people would continue to grow. And eventually, you would start having health issues. Because you're only allowed, our bodies are only allowed, I shouldn't say that. But our bodies are sort of geared for a certain height. The smaller you are, smaller organisms tend to have a higher heart rate. Larger organisms, yeah, ligers get big. I don't know if that works in reverse for the other. I don't know. But I can say that I don't know. And maybe it's best that we don't play around too much with genetics. Genetics can be a very weird subject. Did I answer all of your questions? If I didn't, let me know, and I will try to try to fix that. And yes, there are all kinds of mixes out there. You have all gone quiet. So 86% of you said no, that you had not heard about the Vaquita before today. I don't, Marie, I don't think, I don't believe that captivity would work. See, that's where it's hard to know is what mixes produce viable offspring and which ones don't. But also, just because, you're welcome, just because you have viable offspring doesn't mean that there aren't deficits in other areas. Does that make sense? Remember, it's all about genetics, so it's hard to know what switches have been turned on or what switches have been turned off. Um, Um, thank you, predecessor. So, mules are typically stronger than horses. They also have more endurance than horses. So, yeah. It could be that there may be things with these mixes that one of the problems though with these bears mixing is they're technically creating a new species. They're not, the cubs are not polar bears, they're not grizzly bears, they're a mix. And so the genetics are not pure. And so eventually what could happen is the polar bear could go extinct simply because they're breeding with grizzly bears. Predecessor, does who end up with health issues? Um, well, we talked about with the liger where um if you mix a liger with a if you take a liger, which is a mix between a male lion and a female tiger, the genetic switch that stops them from growing beyond a certain point, that switch is turned off. And so they will keep getting bigger and bigger as they age. Your body size can cause issues. So there's a point where being too big is an issue. Um Now I don't know about other mixes. Like Carol was saying that So, grizzly bears and polar bears do produce offspring. And these offspring, yes, I believe that's the case. They are producing offspring. They may even have a biochemical advantage. And, as Carol said, they are producing I think so. So they think one of the reasons that grizzly bears and polar bears are able to reproduce is because they split. And when I say split, you have a tree, right? Polar bears and grizzly bears supposedly split much later than some other animals. And that could be why they're able to reproduce. Take care, Marie. Thank you for coming in. Guys, we are ladies, I should say. We're a minute and 18 seconds. An hour and 18 seconds. And I still have work to do. Do we want to continue chat or are we good? What I don't know. I know I'm hungry. I will talk to you guys later. I may go live later tonight, depending upon how late I get home, but more than likely, probably not. Tuesday's live is trivia. It will be regular time, as far as I know. We have a zoo to do on December 20th. Ooh, I need to work on that. And then Friday or Saturdays is Potawatomi Zoo. On December 21st, which should be Saturday, is a Learn to Care Santa Catalina rattlesnake. So with that, I will see everybody later. See you in the next one. Be good, everybody.